Toyota may have an advantage in space exploration thanks to its expertise in hydrogen fuel cell technology. Its Lunar Cruiser might be able to set off on longer journeys by utilizing resources that are currently available if water is used as a source of hydrogen. Japan is taking part in NASA's Artemis program as part of its plans to increase its presence in space. In the second half of the decade, it plans to launch Gateway, its own lunar space station. Toyota has been collaborating with the Japanese Space Agency on the design and building of the Lunar Cruiser as part of that goal since 2019. According to Reuters, it will leverage hydrogen technology to enable greater autonomous driving on the Moon, maybe for an extended period of time. A regenerative hydrogen fuel cell car for the Moon is being developed as a result of the initiative, which draws on Toyota's expertise in hydrogen transportation. It will electrolyze water during the day using solar panels. Then, during the subsequent 14-day lunar night, it will use the hydrogen created by that reaction to fuel the electric motors on board the Lunar Cruiser. The technology will not only enable the vehicle to operate longer shifts, but it may also lengthen its useful life. Toyota believes that the technology could one day be created with assistance from other businesses, even if it is not yet known how to convert the ice that is already there on the Moon into hydrogen to power the Lunar Cruiser. According to Ken Yamashita, Toyota's head of lunar exploration projects, "We are aiming to source various items on site over a long period in order to conduct stable, long-term research on the Moon's surface." Yamashita also noted that, in the near future, water will probably need to be sent up for each mission. By 2029, as part of its commitment to the Artemis mission, NASA wants the Japanese Space Agency to deliver its own Lunar Rover. By next fall, Toyota hopes to receive a firm order for its Lunar Cruiser, which will be able to transport 2 astronauts for 42 days each year and be used for at least 10 years. Once it is in operation, the vehicle will be able to carry 2 astronauts for a total of 42 days each year. If a firm or agreement can supply the water required for that, Yamashita added, "Our idea is to continue with the Lunar Rover longer than those 10 years. Here are some more details on Toyota's contribution to this initiative, which will be fuel cell technology. The development of fuel cells is not new. Since the first Gemini mission was planned in 1965, and throughout the Apollo and Space Shuttle missions, hydrogen fuel cells have been employed as a source of power for space missions. So, how do fuel cells work? Perhaps some of you are already aware, but the way fuel cells work is by using a chemical reaction between hydrogen and oxygen to produce energy. Water is the byproduct of this process. Both hydrogen and oxygen can be transported and kept for a long time in a tank because they are both gases. So how do fuel cells compare to lithium-ion batteries? Toyota gave this some thought, and from different perspectives. In comparison to lithium-ion batteries, fuel cells generally have the traits of being lighter and more compact. Engineers at Toyota determined how much power would be needed to secure the necessary driving range as they thought about the mission's requirements. They discovered that fuel cells were the most advantageous option because they had a mass that was roughly 1/5 that of lithium-ion batteries and a volume that was about 20% smaller. Fuel for the initial trip will be carried from Earth in the form of hydrogen and oxygen. The rover should be able to run for a considerable amount of time after changing tanks. Water that is produced during the production of power can be used again as either a cooling or drinking water. Toyota believes that fuel cells are the most appropriate form of energy for this mission, and for other reasons. Likewise, if a source of lunar water is discovered by, say, the Lunar Surface Exploration mission, and is usable, that water might provide a reliable source of energy for human activity in space. With the use of solar photovoltaic panels, electrolysis could be carried out. Water would be produced as a byproduct, and hydrogen and oxygen would be separated to create fuel that could be stored and utilized to produce power. It is possible to generate electricity from the water or even use it for daily needs. Toyota thinks that a society powered by hydrogen may be built using the water. Toyota believes that this might be a mission of significant importance and would like to participate from this perspective as well. Toyota believes that hydrogen and fuel cells are essential for achieving a sustainable mobility society, and the team is aiming to make them more widely used. Toyota wants to see a wide range of mobility applications for the fuel cell technology they have developed and deployed, in addition to their own line of products. Toyota wants to use this technology to coordinate and work with many different stakeholders. Toyota claims that space exploration is the field that puts even the most advanced technological capabilities to the test, and that it must take all reasonable measures to assure the crew's safe return from this difficult mission. As they accept the honor of joining Team Japan under the capable leadership of Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency JAXA, Toyota are prepared to put themselves through a challenge. Why does it matter? The lunar roving vehicle utilized during the Apollo missions was open air. No one had ever flown a pressurized rover to the moon previously. For off-world studies, such a vehicle might be a big help. Astronauts would effectively be able to bring their base with them as they traveled over the moon instead of being tethered to a permanent base every day. If astronauts can find additional fuel on the moon or Mars, they may travel much further. The Lunar Cruiser is anticipated to have a range of more than 6,200 miles using hydrogen and oxygen brought from Earth, which is almost enough to circle the moon at its equator. Hiroshi Yamakawa, president of JAXA, stated in March 2019 that manned rovers with pressurized cabins are an element that will play a key role in full-fledged exploration and use of the lunar surface. Earth-based advantage: the only waste of a hydrogen fuel cell is water, but the expense and energy required to produce pure hydrogen have hindered the widespread adoption of hydrogen-powered cars on Earth. Toyota and JAXA are conducting research that could alter that. Shigeki Terashi, executive vice president of Toyota, stated in 2019 that contributing to Earth's environment cannot be achieved without the widespread use of electrified vehicles. Toyota wants to provide electrification to its customers in various forms, such as through systems and technologies, he continued. We are contributing to this endeavor via our cooperative studies with JAXA. Having said that, are you excited for the upcoming Toyota Lunar Rover? Do you think this can beat previous and current lunar rovers? Companies such as Lockheed, Tesla, Venturi Astrolab, Northrop Grumman, and even China are also in the race of creating a lunar rover. Who do you think will succeed? Let us know your thoughts in the comment box below. If you've watched up to this point, thank you so much. For more videos about EVs, Toyota, Tesla, Ford, and the most recent auto news, please consider subscribing to Tech Addicts.